Silver versus the rest. How do they stack up? Well, how does silver stack up versus others such as gold? We're going to look at copper, uranium, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ as well. We're just going to see how it's stacking up against the rest of them for the short term and the long term as well. Which asset will reign supreme? We will do that today. Of course, hit the big red subscribe button to join the GMS family. I'll put a link somewhere to my private Silver Investor Club. Join for only $1 per month. From only $1 per month. Lots of silver giveaways and lots more happening over there. Use the time codes below to go to your favorite part. But if you are watching live like you are probably right now, you get to enjoy every single thing we do here at Good Morning Stackers with me, Joe Main, going out live on X, live on YouTube, and now live on Facebook once again. So I may have a bunch of Facebook followers watching too. Make sure you get some comments in and we'll do some shout outs. But within the first 1 or 2 minutes of the show, what we do is the synchronized slurp. If you are one of my hundreds of new subscribers in the last week or two, we're nearly 4,000 subscribers on YouTube right now, you may not yet have enjoyed the synchronized slurp. What is that? That's where you grab a tasty beverage, I grab my tasty beverage, we slurp them synchronously together. Yes, the rule is you must do it audibly wherever you are in the world, and you tell me in the comments, if you can, also what you're drinking. Ready? We do it in 3, 2, 1. Let's synchronize slurp together. Go. Oh, yeah. I am Joe Main, don't you know? I've been a stacker of precious metals since 2010. I've been in other assets like crypto and stuff since 2013. And I do this show. And really, the precious metals and the commodity super cycle at the moment. But we're really going to see, is silver still beating the rest? Is anything starting to look like it might start to outperform soon? The answer is quite possibly, but we'll take a look at all of them. Let's do some quick shout outs. Lance is here. Good to see you, my friend. Hope new fatherhood is going very, very well for you. USAR. Yeah, okay. Come back to shake weak hands out and is given another chance. Yeah, I'll take a look at that today if I get a chance. GMS Legends, he says. He loves uranium. Uranium's looking really good at the moment. It's my next love after silver. Been deep since December 2023. Okay, that's really good, man. Let's see. Outperforming. Yeah, absolutely outperforming the S&P. Yes, it is. Good morning. Stackers, says Silver Ruger, slurping a club soda at this very moment. Good on you, JM Unleashed. Now, club soda is a very American thing to say. So I'm going to suggest that you're from somewhere within the continental United States. Would that be correct? Slurping a club soda. So a club soda, isn't that just soda water? Or is club soda with alcohol in it as well? You can tell me in the thing. Slurping coconut water, good for the electrolytes. And g'day, Jason Rosana. Good to see you too, my friend. While we're here, well, I'll just wait for a couple more people to come in. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, just use the time codes below and you'll go straight to that silver versus everything. But while I've got you, can you do me a couple of big favors, okay? Number one, can you head over to x.com/it's Joe Main. Well, give me a follow over there. I have now nearly as many YouTube subscribers as I do X followers. So 4,000 and something X followers. That's pretty darn good. I just do this little thing here because it really helps me because I go live on X as well. So that'll help. That'll bring some more people from that side of things. And you can also, if you want, I think you can follow me over at Facebook now. Do you want to follow me over at Facebook? It's a bit of a weird username, but it's not weird, but it's facebook.com/justjoemain. I tried It's Joe Main, but that was taken. I tried a few, so Just Joe Main. You can follow me over there. This is actually the account that I've had for a very long time, and I'm now just turning it into a morphing of stuff. Okay, so hey, and I'm live. Look at me, I'm going. Hi, Facebook people. And when you're ready to buy precious metals like silver, for example, you can buy from Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au. I think currently the best bullion dealer in all of Australia. No, that's not a joke. I've worked for 3 of the big boys here in Australia over like 11 years. I kind of know what I'm talking about. And these guys are absolutely doing it the best. perthbullion.com.au. I love my other bullion dealers. I've got friends in all the places, okay? But I think perthbullion.com.au doing it the best. You get free shipping. How about that? Free shipping when you have 20 or more items in your shopping cart. And also, they do specials. Now, they do specials on their own channel. They also do specials for the Silver Investor Club. So the special at the moment, and you have to be, this is the thing, you have to be a member of the Silver Investor Club. What's the Silver Investor Club? Well, it's this club right here, don't you know? I'll put a link somewhere. Currently a bunch of members, and you can do a free trial for 7 days, and there's a whole bunch of different subscription options. Now, the more you pay, the more you get, obviously. There's monthly silver giveaways. There's weekly silver bullion specials with the premium, for example. So all you need to do is you be a member of that, and then you buy one of these and you get discounts. So it's currently like a $10 off the 10-ounce intrinsic tender Tiger silver bar from Perth Bullion Exchange. And they've still got silver in stock as well. So like 53 as of right now, but you have to be a member of the Silver Investor Club. You can join for as little as $1 a month. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go to some more shout outs, and then we'll get to the stuff of the day. Oh, I see. Oh, near Toronto. You don't say Toronto. It's not Toronto, it's Toronto. I know that. I have friends who live in Saskatchewan. Just carbonated water. Yeah, exactly right. Let's see, everyone else. So Miss GMS says the Mando Dad and a wavy wave. Great, fantastic. Good to see you all. Let's talk about silver versus the rest. Okay, we're going to do a quick ratio check of how silver is tracking against other assets. We're going to talk about assets within its asset class. We're going to talk about gold. We'll talk about copper. Then we'll talk about assets in its broader asset class, such as commodities. We'll talk about uranium, maybe against iron ore, some other things, natural gas, something like that. And then we're also going to talk about its sort of opposite assets like the S&P 500, the stock market, and also crypto as well. And we're going to see, is silver beating them currently? Okay, and will they potentially will it continue to potentially beat it, or might there just be one or two assets which look like they may have been starting their bottoming formation, and might they start to outperform even silver? Now, bear in mind all of this, silver to the moon, Alice. We're going to triple-digit silver in the not too distant future. I think 2026, if not, the first quarter, the first half of 2026, possibly triple-digit silver, $100 silver. If not, then absolutely 2027 through all that. And by the end of 2030, I see a minimum $200 for silver. Okay, but that doesn't mean it's the one that's going to be having the largest percentage. There could be other things, and what will actually happen is once silver has its large move, other things will then present themselves as being undervalued versus silver. So let's take a look at all of those. Cool. I bet it is. Yes, I've been looking at that. Give me one second. I'll take a quick look at that just for you. I have been hawking that very carefully. What are we at now? What are we at? Yeah, I am watching that very carefully, by the way. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's go back to there and there and there. Okay, this is what we want to do. What an amazing show this is. First off, here is silver on the quarterly time frame, priced in USD, $58.46. Now, for those, I've just started going live on Facebook again, so I may have some very long time Facebook friends or even family members potentially watching. Hello, if you're watching. This is the price of silver. Silver has made it's in brand new all-time high territory for the first time in 45 years. Do I need to pause for effect? 45 years, brand new all-time highs, okay? 1980, $50. 2011, $50 in 2011 dollars, not inflation adjusted, okay? And we've just broken through. So this means that unless there's a black swan event, meaning an event you can't see, an asteroid hitting the Earth, a global financial crash which just wipes out everything forever, okay? If we go into a kind of, if we went into some kind of SHIT, hits the fan scenario, silver would actually do really well. Anyway, the short answer is this thing ain't dropping like a stone. We are, after 45 years, the thing's been wound up so much, or the beach ball has been pushed so far down underwater, that when it starts springing out of it, okay, it's not just going to go bloop, and then it's not like a killer whale that comes out of the water just a tiny little bit and then goes back in the water. This thing, okay, we're talking much higher. Number will go up, number will go down, but over time, we're talking a lot higher. And I think from here, you can double your money and then double that double. Okay, so we're talking $200 minimum, I think. US dollars, that is. Work out whatever that is in your Australian currency. Cool. So we're doing really, really well. If you were only to buy silver with a long-term strategy and just hold it between now and the end of around about 2030, it will be higher than what it is right now. Short answer. So you could just buy a bunch of silver, hold it, don't look at the price, come back in around about 2029, 2030, 31, 32 maybe a little bit longer, and you'll be really happy, okay? So that's that. However, some people like to go, well, I mean, I want to capitalize on my investment and I want to find out what might be highly undervalued when silver is overvalued. So we're going to take a quick little look here. We're going to do a few things. I'm going to give you the ones that silver is absolutely killing first, and then I'll go to the ones that I'm like, oh, maybe we need to look at these other ones too. Okay, and I know this is a long wind up, isn't it? Sorry. My philosophy on all of this is I love silver. I've been in silver since 2010. I stack silver. Okay, I love it. However, this time around, I will sell it very, very quickly. If I see something else which is massively undervalued and I think silver is done, there will be a day. Oh, let me know. There will be a day where I make a video saying I sold all my silver for XYZ. That day's coming years down the track, but it is coming, okay? I'm not married to my silver, and neither should you. Don't be married to any asset. Anyway, and none of this is financial advice. Cool. Let's take a look at the first one. Definitely is silver versus gold. We did this video yesterday, so I'll quickly touch upon this. Okay, let's go to the ratios. Let's see. This is going to be a lot of me talking today rather than lots of interaction with the crowd, but I'll do that too. I did this video yesterday. It had a lot of views, so we'll just quickly show it to you again for those who did miss it. This is the gold to silver ratio. If I flipped it, it's the silver to gold ratio. So I'll just do it in the normal one. So as this number is going up, gold is massively outperforming silver. As this number goes down, silver is killing gold. Like, why would you be in gold when you're seeing this thing absolutely tank? Okay, and look at the trend that it's doing. So at the moment, at the moment, you have broken through right here. Very key support. It was resistance, became support, then we're broken back through. This is the normal zone, the normal range that it's been since about, we're talking about the early 80s, okay? There's been some outlying, okay, where gold massively outperforms silver, and that's when this sort of coincides with quite low silver prices, okay? So up here, above this normal range, that's when silver's generally at its lowest price. Below here is generally when silver is at its quite high prices. And we did this yesterday. Maybe I still have it. Do I still have it? Let's find out. Oh, I do. Good. So if you didn't see it, very quickly, I matched up these and you can see when this is bottomed, right? That's silver at its high in 1980. When that bottomed here and got through this level here, right? That's the normal range. When it broke through the normal range, it got into this sort of outlying range. You can see all the time, all the price action has been spent in here. When it gets into this outlying range, oh, look, silver at, where are we? Silver, yeah, come on, that's not a line that I want. There we go. Right there, you can see that line join up. That's at 2011, okay? What are we doing once again? We are moving down once again, and I think this is it. With the silver price, as you saw, making new all-time highs for the first time in 45 years. This is only going to continue to go down over the longer term. It will, have little peaks and troughs, etc. But now we're done. We are heading down into this area once again. Where can it go down to? I don't know. Could it overshoot this time and get back into this area? That's like extremely overvalued. This is overvalued versus gold. This is the extremely overvalued window, okay? It could do it this time. The short answer is silver killing gold. Okay, there is no point being in gold whatsoever unless you buy it for insurance purposes. I do suggest everyone owns a little bit of gold, 5%, 10% in their portfolio, because you just want to own some gold just in case. And you want, what I mean by that is you want physical gold. Gold in your hands, gold in a safe, gold somewhere buried where you know it is, just in case there's an emergency and you need some quick cash, right? You can take it to a bullion dealer, you can sell it online, you can, swap it for something, okay? Own some physical gold, a small portion, 5-10% of your portfolio, of your net wealth. Cool? However, to increase your wealth, do not be buying gold right now. It is all about silver versus gold. Cool? So that's that. Silver, absolutely killing it. Cool. That's versus silver. I'm going to go to probably, let's go to the stock market now, then I'll come back to some other precious metals, okay? Let's take a look at some other ones. By the way, how many people have, I've got a bunch of people watching, fantastic, good to see, get your comments in. If you have anything that you would like me to chart silver against, let me know in the comments and I'll see if I have time to do that. Cool, you're watching Good Morning Stackers. Let's see. Silver versus, I do have it here, I promise. Silver versus, where are we? S&P 500. All right. Now, rather than that was gold versus silver, this is silver versus the stock market. Okay. This is information that goes all the way back, historical pricing to 22 years ago, something like that, early 2000s. As this number is going up, yes, you know this is live when I burp. As this is going up, silver, much better to be in. Killing the stock market, the general stock market, right? The S&P 500. As this is going down, geez, you don't want to be in silver versus the stock market. And basically all the precious metals, gold was heading down versus the stock market, etc. And now look where we are. We've been talking about, since the start of this show in May of last year, I mean, this was all the way down in here, massively undervalued. We talked about the fact that it was massively undervalued and that silver would break through eventually and continue and go on a massive run versus the stock market. Again, bear in mind, these are all ratios. The stock market can be making new all-time highs. Let me repeat that. The stock market, everything can be going up, okay? We could be going into a time where if there's lots of money printing, if there's a lowering of interest rates, if the United States does quantitative easing, they've just pulled out of quantitative tightening. So they've stopped the pulling back of the supply of currency, and now they're just kind of at a neutral point. If they start injecting lots of currency into the banking system, okay, that puts more money into circulation. That means inflation, and generally people like to flock to things that try to beat inflation, okay? And that happens to be the stock market. It's silver, because silver's a risk-on asset, not really a risk-off asset, and other things like that. So you can see the stock market going up, but you've got to look at your ratios. That's the point. Silver, massively going to outperform it and will continue to do so even if everything else is going up, right? So that's silver. We've broken out of this key support level and resistance level here. You can see that. We've broken out. We made the first quarter close for a long time, and this is, look, it's just looking amazing. Okay, short answer is silver will continue, and it is beating. Better to be in silver than in the stock market, okay, for sure. And something like this, I mean, I think it can get definitely back to this 1-to-1 parity. What does that mean? Well, it means at some point, I believe that 1 ounce of silver can buy you 1 point of the stock market. Okay, now if you take a look at the S&P 500, how much is the S&P 500? Now bear this in mind. Okay, well, the S&P 500 is $6,850 per 1 point of the stock market. Now that sounds weird, right? You're going, Joe, what do you think you think silver can be $6,000 something dollars? No, not necessarily, no. What that does mean though, however, is the stock market can have big dips, and silver can go in the opposite direction, and that's why you see this ratio number go up. So I reckon we can easily get back to, oh, sorry, that was, hang on. I just said something really wrong. No, not 1-to-1 parity. That's insane. That can't happen. I was looking at the number one. I should have looked over here. Sorry. Let me go back. Do I think that silver can ever be worth one day zero point 0.04 of a share of the stock market? Yes. Sorry, gang. I was looking at the number one there for some. That's the top of the Fibonacci. No. So that's parity with the stock market. Never say never. I mean, you would see this would have to be a massive drawdown on the stock market, huge economic crash, and silver going absolutely hog wild. So maybe never you'll see parity. Sorry about that. But can it match these previous levels? Absolutely. And can it go above those levels? Yes. You could actually really make the case for, very easily, silver being worth 1/10 of a point of the S&P 500. Very easily in this silver run. Okay. My apologies about the parity thing. That was dumb. And I'll always admit when that was dumb. That was really dumb. So silver versus the stock market, absolutely killing it. And I think, look, number go up, number go down. Over time, it's going to continue to do so. So why would you be in the stock market when silver, highly undervalued, and will continue to do so? Cool. So that's versus the stock market. I'm now going to go versus... I'll go versus the NASDAQ, just out of interest. I mean, they're all kind of the same thing. NDX... I mean, the NASDAQ is the stock market, but it's the tech stocks. So let's take a quick little look at that. Do I have that? No, I already did it. Silver versus... Oh, it's already there, Joe. So here is silver versus the NASDAQ, so the tech stocks. Okay, so you can see very clearly, highly undervalued. And what you'll notice here, at least on the... I'll pop it on the monthly. Yeah, you can see we've broken out versus the NASDAQ as well. So that looks pretty good. That was lowering on increasing momentum, okay? So what that means is this ratio was going down as the momentum was going up. Now that spells divergence, and that's a bullish, meaning a positive divergence. So it's spelling positive divergence between silver and the NASDAQ, and that's, Tesla, Nvidia, all those tech stocks, right? The conglomeration of those. So it's even now beating the NASDAQ as well, the darling of the last, 10 years, tech stocks, okay, particularly Nvidia and all those ones. It's now beating it, and it's doing so on decent volume as well. This is the volume indicator down here. Doing it on good volume. Silver will continue over time to outperform the NASDAQ as well. Why would you buy tech stocks right now when you can buy silver? Okay, and you can buy silver in different forms. So that's versus that. I'm also going to let's take a look at the big one. I won't laugh, but I will have a little bit of a sneaky, although, as you know, I love Bitcoin, and you should buy Bitcoin. Actually, I believe that Bitcoin, and let me show you right here. Bitcoin, digital asset. Here is, out of interest, here's Bitcoin on the Bitstamp exchange, priced in USD on the daily time frame. Yeah, we're seeing some price rises. I mean, we're at 93,800. We are seeing a rise in the price of Bitcoin at the moment. So we're going to be seeing probably a bit of a dip in the silver to Bitcoin ratio, but that's not unexpected. But Bitcoin is looking bearish at the moment until it starts breaking around about $108,000, $109,000. I cannot say at all that Bitcoin's going to continue to new all-time highs anytime soon. It looks like the cycle is done, okay, for at least a year and a half, something like that, unless we start breaking above 108, 109. Cool. I'll change my tune like that because the data is changing. Cool. Got it. But yeah, at the moment, I just think this is a little bit of a rise up into this general zone up in here somewhere. And then I think we probably tick over and head down lower. Could I be wrong? Yes. Will I be happy to be wrong? Yeah, because then I'll be back in deep in Bitcoin if the silver to Bitcoin ratio looks like it's going to head back down again. So let's take a look at silver to Bitcoin right now, see where we are. That's that one. Yeah, this is live when it takes so long to find things. I did not have this pre-prepared. Silver. All right. Yeah. Okay. So this is really interesting. What you're going to see really soon, if it hasn't happened already, today or in the next maybe couple of days, couple of weeks even, possibly even, this is on the monthly time frame, you might see within the next, you might see in December and January potentially, all the crypto people going, ha, 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 you're still buying that gold and you're still buying that silver. Look at Bitcoin, it's back up over these levels. And look at the Bitcoin ratio. Oh, it's going down, huh? Well, look at where we've come from. Okay, silver is in a new bull run against Bitcoin. Okay, and if it's doing it versus Bitcoin, it's doing it versus general crypto. Okay, you can see. You can't see. I'll have to show you on the 4 hour, or will it do it for me on the daily? It does it on the daily. Does it do it on the weekly? It just doesn't do it on the monthly, and it doesn't do it there. So let me show you on the weekly. Okay. You see very clearly, just like I showed you before, you've got increasing momentum with the decline of price. Looks like we've opened the market too. Fantastic. So declining ratio number. So this is forming a lower low. So Bitcoin still killing silver. All right. But what happened was the momentum was shifting, and the momentum went from, that's sort of complex bullish divergence. So from there, see that declining in price? And see this rising in the momentum. Okay, you can see something's happening, all right? Things are diverging. Also, if you take a look at the volume, really diverging as well. So silver, what should be happening in a trend that is going to continue is these should be moving in confluence. As that's going down, that should be down, that should be down. But because it's not, it's diverging, meaning there's a shift happening, okay? And we saw that shift. So then we saw a very bullish change of market structure, and that's where you started making brand new higher highs. Now we've made a higher high, and we've smashed it as well. So I would not be surprised, let me be very clear right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin starts outperforming silver for a couple of months, maybe, maximum, something like that, potentially. It might not, but what goes up must come down. So you've had this beautiful move through there, and it also cleared straight through there. This is a brilliant, called a non-failure swing pattern, okay? It didn't just slice through one high, previous high, and then do that. It sliced through a second one. So if you do that and then find support here or maybe a little bit lower and then through there, that is the most bullish of reversal patterns in the world, the non-failure swing, okay? Make a higher high first, then a lower high, then break through. Chef's kiss. Now, I think that will actually do that completely. I don't think you do this and then you're not making new lows now, okay? Silver will, over time, maybe a little bit of a dip, but silver will continue to now outperform Bitcoin, I think, for a decent amount of time. Okay. Where could it get up to? No idea, but look at that pattern. Now, if I show it to you in the opposite direction, and I'm about to get to the ones that I think have a potential of outperforming silver later on down the track. But if I flip this around, that just means, look at that real big, just falling off a cliff. So, right, Bitcoin underperforming silver. Cool. So silver winning the day against Bitcoin and crypto too. So it's beating the ass out of gold. It's beating the ass out of the stock market and the NASDAQ. Beating the ass out of, it's just started beating crypto. Okay. Bottoming of that. So great. Do I own any crypto right now? Other than the small amount of Bitcoin that I own as an insurance policy, just like gold, I own zero, okay? Because precious metals and silver in particular is where it's at. Let's take a look now at some things that may eventually start to outperform silver potentially, okay? I'm going to show you copper. That's one that I'd mentioned. Let me just check any comments, any queries, anything. Yeah, no, I'll get to that. I'll come. Let me just go straight through. And the market's just open too, so I want to see what's happened to good old uranium, etc. We'll take a look at copper. Where's copper, Joe? Let's find it. Get your comments in and get your chart requests that you want me to look at versus silver. Okay. By the way, so let's do copper. Now, this is the copper spot price. Okay. Copper generally performs really, really well in sort of the second half secondish half of a commodity super cycle. We're just in the beginning of a commodity super cycle. That's why you saw gold make new all-time highs, and now you're finally seeing silver make new all-time highs. Eventually, what will happen is it sort of gold, silver runs, platinum has a run, and then it gets into your more industrial metals, such as copper. Now, copper, what's it used in? I'll give you 2 seconds. Copper is used in everything. Well, anything electrical. Need electricity? You need copper. Need electricity? You need uranium, but we'll get to that in a second. Need electricity? Need silver. But you need a lot of copper for everything. Copper pipes, copper this, copper that, right? Manufacturing, you need copper. And it's just breaking into new all-time high territory right now. We have this little high of $6 not that long ago, and the only thing that stopped it was because there was a Trump tariff something or other, and then it had a little bit of a dip. Where did we find support? Right there, beautifully, and we've bounced off. And I think we're just going to, over time, right, it's going to continue to do really, really well. How about versus silver? All right, let's see where we are on the copper. Now I'm going to show you, I'll show you silver versus copper first. Silver versus copper. All right, let's take a look at that. So, and then I'll show it to you in the reverse, copper versus silver. Here is silver versus copper. So as this is going up, silver killing copper, and as this is going down, copper's having its time in the sun, right? Look at silver. It's absolutely going hog wild, and it has been going hog wild versus copper. That's because copper has just been kind of stagnant, not doing much, and silver's had the great run that we've seen it. We have a tendency to have a bias for seeing this and going, it's going to break we see this kind of pattern. We see that things getting to the tops of areas and we go, it's going to break through. It's going to break through. And then when we flip it, we just have this natural psychological thing of, okay, it may have formed a bottom there, or it might be forming support. But we less often do we go, it's lots of resistance there. Okay, so let's unpack it very quickly. Nope, that one and that one. Let's have a look at our indicators and see if there's anything that's looking a little overvalued. So is silver looking quite overvalued versus copper? Let's pop on our indicators. Okay, so silver is, and doesn't mean it's done, but silver is already in, at least on the quarterly time frame, it's in extremely overbought or extremely overvalued. Now, it can spend a lot of time there, so silver can certainly, outrun copper, but we're at the top end. Okay, let me show you on the monthly time frame. Extremely overvalued versus copper, and we're also, there's two things. There's two little check marks, okay? I'll call it around about there-ish. You want to call it that window right there? Can we call that the resistance zone? And can we call maybe around about here, if you're all right with that, the support zone? And this is your sort of your normal range, right? You've got some outlying positions. Okay, that was when silver peaked silver massively killed gold. Copper massively killed silver in 2008. Anyway, we're at the top end of a resistance zone. All right, so that's tick number one, I guess, if you want to call it that. That's tick number one. That copper might be starting to outperform silver eventually, or that silver is looking highly overvalued. Tick number one, we're in extremely overvalued on the relative strength index. So that's actually tick number two, that silver might be getting to the overvalued stage versus copper. I'm not telling you to swap all your silver for copper right now. Okay, let's take a look at the volume. Now, this is important. Here's a little ticker here's a little something. Silver made a higher high, right? Higher high versus copper, but it's not making a new high in copper on the volume. So it says the price was going up, but the buying pressure wasn't as high. Okay, so that's actually tick number three to say that silver's getting in an overvalued kind of territory versus copper. So this is the first one I at least want you to think about as a potential string to add to your bow, a potential asset to add to your portfolio if you're not already in copper. Should you be buying Bitcoin as a speculative investment right now? No. You buy it as an insurance policy? Yes. Should you be buying the NASDAQ or the S&P versus silver? Hell no. Hell no to Bitcoin. Hell no to that. Hell no to gold. Adding some copper to your thing right now, maybe not a bad idea. Okay, at least maybe dip your toe in and consider it. Okay, let me show you the copper to silver ratio. So this just flipped. Okay, highly undervalued. Now that doesn't mean we can't completely overshoot and head all the way down. And could we break this previous level right here? Right. So copper is highly undervalued. We've never been, well, I can't say we've never been as low, but as according to this historical chart, that goes back to 1999. So for the last 25 years, it's almost hasn't been as low. It's right there. So you've got that support zone. So that's looking pretty low. Then what we need to do is we pop in our indicators and say, is there any divergence happening? Let's pop in on the monthly. Now, as I showed you on the monthly with that opposite one, now, because it's flipped over, this is an extremely undervalued. So copper, highly undervalued on the monthly time frame. Copper on the weekly, I'm not saying it's happening, but I've got some potential here. Copper has made a new low. All right, let's do the ticks again. Let's go back. Copper on the monthly time frame. Copper is the lowest it's been ever on the relative strength index since 1999. So that's in extremely undervalued territory. So that's one tick to say, okay, just that's a signal. That's a blinker to look out for. Cool. Then you go, okay, well, it's at a massive support level. Okay, and it hasn't even broken it yet. Okay. That's just a signal to watch out for. It doesn't mean you don't swap all your silver for copper, but you just keep your blinkers on. Okay. Then we go into, say, a smaller time frame. Is there any divergence potentially happening? Not quite yet, but there's some potential. Okay. So you've got a lower low here, and then you have a potential. Now it's only potential at this stage. You've got a potential higher low on the weekly time frame. Now, if this just starts making lower lows here and gets through that support level, and this starts making lower lows, then that becomes invalidating. It's like, okay, yeah, and it looks like silver's going to just continue its run versus copper until, the signals change. I would also suggest that the volume isn't suggesting yet that copper is going to massively outperform silver just yet. You can see it's just kind of moving in convergence rather than divergence like that. But that's one little signal, one extra signal, okay? So then, yes, I put, look at those ticks, I put a third tick there. This doesn't mean you go out and buy copper now versus silver. You don't sell your silver for copper, okay? I would suggest dipping your toe into the copper world around-ish now. Okay, what happens if, I don't get the exact bottom? Oh no, I didn't, and it sailed through here, and then it went a little bit more undervalued. It got down to here. I should have waited to... You don't wait, okay? It's looking highly undervalued. I would consider dipping your toe into the copper world. I certainly have with some copper stocks. We can take a look at those maybe in a separate video. I actually did a video. I'll put a link somewhere to 9 amazing copper stocks that I'm either watching or I'm in. And some of those that I were watching, I'm actually now in. So go back and watch that video and I'll update you as I go. So that's copper. Silver versus copper. Quite overvalued. It can still overshoot. Copper is quite highly undervalued towards silver. It can still dip much below. But what does happen, again, once silver has its massive run, copper will start to go. And this will eventually start outperforming silver. And you'll start to get probably back up into, this kind of area, up in here, okay? At least, I think, look at this, it does it over time. So revert to the kind of top end. I think it will, okay? So just bear all of that in mind. Copper could be a great play soon. I do have some small copper plays. So that's silver versus copper. I want to also show you silver versus uranium. So this is URA. Now, rather than showing you the uranium, like the spot uranium price, because you can't go out and buy a physical amount of uranium, at least I certainly hope you can't. And, that's the company you keep, and you wouldn't want to anyway. But here is URA. URA is the Global X Uranium ETF. So if you don't want to buy individual uranium mining stocks, you buy the index stock, and it's the best way to do it. Okay, so it's been highly undervalued versus itself back all the way back to 2020. So right after that thing happened in 2020, you saw uranium and lots of other things have their big moves. Now it is currently, it had a big move, and now it seems to have retraced that move, and it looks like we're moving probably onwards and upwards eventually from here. Okay, I'll show you on the weekly time frame. It looks like we have a lovely little retrace from this low. Yep, we hit the 0.5 Fibonacci right there. Could we be turning around and onwards and upwards from here? Quite potentially. At least on the daily time frame, there's some good trades to get into right now. But uranium, over the longer term, I see it going much, much higher. Why? Well, it's uranium. It powers nuclear technology. It powers the current generation of nuclear technology, which is Gen 3 nuclear. Well, it powers Gen 1 doesn't exist anymore, but it powers Gen 2 and Gen 3 nuclear power plants. You need uranium for that. Generation 4 nuclear could be like, thorium and sodium reactors and all that kind of stuff. But to get a lot of nuclear power online, you have to go with what's already approved. So there's going to be a lot of Generation 3, a lot of nuclear power plants which are springing back up again. You're going to need a lot of uranium, and uranium's lumped in with the commodities, okay? So it's going to continue to do very well. Question is, how is it doing versus silver? Should you be in a bit of uranium as well? Now, I happen to be, but I am happy to take the bet that it might start outperforming silver eventually. Let me show you the silver to URA chart. And I think this is probably the last one I'll do of the major assets. I might have a take a look at some others as well. This is silver versus the uranium mining stock index. I kind of have to say here, this is kind of neutral for me. So there's nothing giving me a clear indication that silver is going to massively continue to outperform uranium miners or massively underperform uranium miners. There's nothing saying yet that uranium's just going to have this price tank, right? Or the opposite direction, that uranium's just going to go on balance of on balance of probability. Let me actually look at that. Let me flip that around. I shouldn't just say things. I should actually take a look. Let's see from this low and this high. Where are we? We bounced off the 0.786, okay. From this high and this low, where are we? We bounced off the 0.382. Okay, so if I flip that, let me flip it. Flip it and reverse it. URA versus silver, okay. So now this is measuring if, there we go, if uranium could outperform silver. Let me get rid of all of that, and I'll do it from scratch for you. Remove all that. So uranium, as this is going down, silver's killing uranium. As this is going up, uranium miners killing silver. Okay, it's had a nice little run versus silver. Then we've been in this massive accumulation range. Let's take a look here. Again, I'm kind of neutral to this, but let me just see. Okay, so what you can see here is it's actually been hovering around this general support zone. Okay, so it's still acting as support. Whoa. Big with that, this is on the monthly time frame, right? Uranium was having a good little bit of time in the sun. Then silver, obviously breaking through $50, creating new all-time highs, etc., just started killing uranium in the last month. Where have we found basically exact support? Oh, gee, what do you know? At this support level, the bottom end of the zag zone here, from this low and this high. I will tell you, it's neutral for me at the moment. I'll tell you something for free. If we start doing this, then silver's going to continue to outperform uranium massively. Okay, you do something like that, you fall out of here, this no longer acts as support. You start doing that, it acts as resistance and then starts falling through there. You start falling through there, bang, silver's still the place to be. Okay. However, if you do the following, if you start creeping back out of here again, and if you get through like this kind of area, I'd be really considering, definitely out of here, definitely out of there. Okay. That's your big kicker. But even if you start getting back through this zone right here, I really start considering, maybe I should be in some uranium as well. Maybe uranium will continue to outperform silver for a bit. Until we do, really, kind of until we get out of here. It's even really here, until you just really start making new highs, you can see that this has just been ranging for ages. So maybe it just plays this game forever where it just goes up, down, up, down, up, down. But if it does one of two things, breaks through there, silver, place to be versus uranium. If it breaks up through there, uranium, go, go, go versus silver again. Silver can be going up, uranium can be going up. It's just that uranium's killing it, right? Quite neutral for uranium versus silver. However, I am in a bunch of uranium stuff at the moment. Speaking of, let me just quickly check the market. The market has opened. Let me get rid of, so you can see my stuff here. On the right-hand side, see all these flags, these different colored flags? The ones in yellow are the ones that I'm currently in. Let's take a look at what's happened. Here we are. Let's see what's opened for the day. That is ARR, okay, AEE, which is Aura Energy, neutral at the moment. Let's take a look at the uranium ones. What have we done? Okay, BMN I just got into, which is Bannerman Energy. That is up a few percent for the day. Fantastic, good to see. Boss Energy, which is uranium, is up a little bit for the day. Basin Energy is up 4% for the day. That's a uranium one. What's that? Yeah, engages in mineral exploration. Oh, no, that's not uranium. Ignore that one. And, of course, we've got, I think it's GUE, Global Uranium and Enrichment, is up 3% today. That's good. Good to see. So uranium's having a little bit of a bump. Copper's having a little bit of a bump today as well. If you take a look at HCH, I got in on the break of here. So when it hit my alert above here, I got in. So I'm up in my position at the moment. This is Hot Chili Limited. It is a copper explorer. Are they a producer yet? Engages in the provision of identification, acquisition, exploration, evaluation, and development. So I think they develop some copper as well. They're not just an explorer. It's making new highs on the weekly time frame. So I'm in HCH. I'm in CNB as well. That's actually not doing too bad. What's that? CNB Carnaby Resources. I think that's copper as well, is it? Unless I'm incorrect. Mineral properties. Yeah, the includes the Greater Duchess copper and gold projects, Pilbara gold, lithium projects. It's kind of in a lot of different things. So that's copper doing well today. And anything else? PEN, PEN, I'm in. That's a uranium stock, which is doing all right. What else is up today? Yeah, that's about it. And that last one I wanted to show you, which is interesting. Okay, looks like my CKA Coca Limited. This is a coal miner. Okay, again, it's all in this commodities sector. I don't own basically, I don't own any tech stocks. I don't own any, I have one little something in the healthcare sector, but this is all commodities. Okay, FMG, which is to do with iron ore. This is Fortescue. Okay, iron ore. Let me see versus iron ore. Let's see, what's that? Coffee futures. No, Joe. Oil. Of course, versus oil. I should be doing that. Coal, iron ore. I have an iron ore one. Excuse me 1 second. Can I find it? Could I be bothered? No, couldn't. Don't worry about it. All right, so that's all. That's a long one today. That's been silver versus the rest. So the short answer is, and thank you very much. I'll get to that super chat in a second. We'll get to some, what's the word I'm looking for? Chart requests if we have any. So short answer is silver is still very much the king, killing gold. It's currently, well, I didn't show you the chart, but it's currently killing platinum. Okay. It is killing the stock market. It's killing crypto. It's very much reigning supreme against them all. It's still beating copper. It's beating uranium, and I'm kind of, again, neutral on silver versus uranium. So silver is just absolutely creaming basically everything else, okay, is in their indexes, not individual stocks or whatever, of course. Could there be some stock that's beating silver today? Yes, of course. But over the longer term and the conglomerate, silver's killing everything except potentially now maybe copper. And that's the only thing I'll say. Copper is quite undervalued versus silver. can still head down, but that's the one I'd be really watching if you're thinking about getting into anything else other than silver. Watch out for copper, okay? And I'll put a link to my 9 amazing copper stocks that I did recently. Now, finally, let's get to some comments and some queries. I'll always go for super chats first. Super chat, $5, Canadian, $5. Thank you, man. Thanks, JM Unleashed. I appreciate it. Thoughts and or analysis on nickel. Okay, let's take a look. Nickel. Let me see if I'm just going to type in nickel. Capital.com. Okay, let me go back to there. Nickel. Capital.com. Nickel futures. Okay, that'll be a good one. Nickel futures. Pebblestone, nickel versus the US dollar. Okay, sure, why not? Nickel futures. We'll just add a bunch. Okay, let me ask. Let me go back to here, and I'm just going to ask Grok something as well. Let's have a quick little look. What are the best tickers to watch to see the nickel price action? All right, let me ask. I'm asking Grok for you. Nickel prices are influenced by. Just give me the answer. No, I mean top ETFs for broader exposure. PIC and NIKL. Nasdaq listed tracks nickel miners and developers. Okay, so we'll go NIKL. Let's do that. And there's PIC as well. NIKL. Funny how that works, isn't it? NIKL Sprott. Oh, it's a Sprott nickel one. So Sprott has one. Oh, there you go. And there's one called PIC, which I think I already have. Yes, I do. Cool. So let's take a look at all of them. That's that. That's, okay, nickel futures. All right, so where are we with the nickel futures? And then we'll take a look at it versus silver as well. So this goes back to 2016. This one goes back to 2021. This one goes back to 2022. This is not one that is even... What? That made no sense. Okay. And this is the Sprott one from 2023. Okay. I'm going to go back to the first one. So this one goes back to... Was that the one I was looking for? No, this one back to 2015, 16. It's kind of the best one I have. I don't have a more historical nickel price, okay? Nickel futures price. So let's take a look. We had a low here of nickel's futures. This will be, per ton or per whatever. I know, pick a thing. Is it per ton? Let's go with that. At $500. And then we had a spike there. I don't think we can trust that spike, can we? Possibly not, but we had a high. Let's take it from here of like $3,000. Cool. I don't know what's going on with that spike. It doesn't look like it lines up with anything else. What's that, 2022? Oh, no. There's a spike on that one. Okay, I guess I'm taking it. Why is there a spike? I didn't really need to see that. Nope. There. All right, I guess I'll take it from the spike. That's really not helpful. I'm going to take it from here. I don't like that spike. That's annoying me. Ah, crap. Let's take it to the logarithmic scale then. Okay. Alrighty, so now that we're on logarithmic from this low and this high, can anyone who has followed me from any decent period of time, at least in the last 4, 5, 6 months, tell me what I'm noticing here? I'll just tell you because I'm not going to watch the comments. On the logarithmic scale, from this low and this high, where are we finding wonderful support at? Ooh. Right in the zag zone. This is the expected support zone. When you have a massive move, you can expect that move to retrace 1/3 to 2/3 of that large move. So after doing this, 1/3 to 2/3 of the move is completely normal. Okay, nothing to freak out about. Now you're freaking out if you bought up here. Duh. But it's not really until you start getting through the 2/3 retracement that you start getting really concerned for the asset that you're looking at, okay? Down into here is perfect. That would be great. That's very strong support. Kind of neutral par for course support. This is weak support, but it's still support, okay? It's weak support, and this is down here is like really weak. You don't want to get into this area. So what have we done? We have found beautiful support here actually for nickel. Now, nickel comes under the industrials, okay? Again, commodity super cycle. Gold goes first, silver follows, platinum, then you'll get some copper, then all the industrials start going as well, okay? You're talking about oil, nickel, iron ore, all those ones have good runs, okay? So this could be poised for a good run, okay? Let's see now. We've found some support. You can see that there's some kind of bowl starting to form as well. Now what I will very likely see, could be wrong, is it looks like we're probably going to find some kind of divergence on the momentum indicators, either one or both of them. So let's pop those on. Okay, so you've seen that. I can't use that. That's not usable for me. So we'll get rid of the volume for a second. What do you notice on the weekly time frame? Is there any bullish, as in positive, divergence in the price like we've just been talking? Price going down, momentum going up. Cool. So that's one little tick. The fact that we have found support so far at the bottom end of the zag zone. Second tick. It's good. It's good. On the daily. Anything on the daily saying that we could potentially be bottoming out here? Ignore this fluctuation. This is, again, nickel futures, all right? You actually do. You can see here, it's kind of hard to see, but you've got a double bottom there and a stupid thing, and then an uptick in the volume, so that uptick in the relative strength index, so that's also bullish divergence. I can't really speak about the volume because it's not liking me, that indicator right now. So yeah, there's a really good potential that nickel may be bottoming out in its own price. Okay, now I can't say versus silver. We'll take a look in a second. But you got a couple of ticks there. Okay, so these are signals to watch out for. But you do not trade the signal. You don't trade the trigger. You trade the so don't trade the signal, trade the trigger. So the trigger is a change of market structure. So you're currently, and I'll have to go back to the weekly for this, sorry, to see it a little bit better. You are currently making successive lower highs and lower lows. So you don't trade the signal, you trade the trigger. Okay, so the signal, so lower highs and lower lows. This is still in a bear market. Now, a bunch of different things are happening here all at once. I'm going to give it actually another tick because of I think it's called the breadth. I'll double check that. Look at the distances between the peaks. Okay, the distances, look at that. That's quite a large gap. That's a really large gap. These gaps are getting a little bit small. They've started to tighten. You can see that. Look at that. Look at that gap between that low and that low. You can see it's all kind of just squeezing together like an accordion, and then that could be, and then it heads out again. So that's actually another tick for that. But what you need to see is beyond anything else, all of these signals are great. They're all blinkers that are on to say, something's happening here. The trigger is not until you start making bare minimum a brand new higher high on a time frame, on a specific time frame. For me, that'd be the weekly. So you're making lower highs and lower lows. You need to start making I would suggest the second you do that, if you start breaking out of here, that's at 1,365 on this particular, whatever this is, nickel's future. You're making the first higher high on the weekly time frame since the peak in 2022. The first time in 3 years, 3 and a bit years that you're making a higher high on the weekly. That could be a really good signal. Now, until you do that, so a good trigger, until you do that, these other signals that I'm talking about are good, but they don't mean anything. Okay, you could do that, and then it starts making a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower low, and it could just continue, and then it falls out of there. You start falling out of that blue zone. That's not great. But if you do that, if you get something like this, right, does like this, and then through there, gold, like you could say game on for nickel versus itself, okay, or you could do something like this, shoot through, and then do that, makes a higher low, right, higher than there, shoot through there, game on for nickel again versus itself. Let's take a look at silver versus, what's that, silver versus nickel, oh man, silver versus nickel 1, exclamation point versus nickel 1 exclamation point. Nickel's futures. Cool. Okay, so here's silver versus nickel. Still pretty outperforming, isn't it? Holy moly. Okay, so it is incredibly outperforming. Okay, let's do it the other way. The other way. Do you want to do it the easy way, the hard way, or the easy way? The easy way. One there versus silver. Okay, we're going to flip the script. Does it work for me? Okay. Here's nickel versus silver. Nickel futures versus silver, and you could say this pretty much it's nickel futures, right? This is the nickel price. Extremely undervalued. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. So there might be some really good nickel mining plays. Let's see. You have broken through. Now, just so you know, it's in a total bear market. Okay, so if you were looking at this just straight on that, you go, oh, it's a total bear market. This could, so you know, this could just totally keep tanking. Is there anything yet that's saying it could potentially be turning around? Well, it's not until you bear minimum. You've got to get through here. You've got to get through that support zone. Okay, I would suggest that if you're going to find a bottom anywhere, that's going to act as massive resistance. So could that be a bit of a swing trade? Sure. Again, this is versus silver. All right. Let's see. Indicators. Well, you're very oversold or undervalued of nickel versus silver, but it can spend a lot of time in that area. I mean, you could, no joke, I mean, you could literally, things don't just always turn around like this. That could just go for ages, for like years, potentially. Okay, so just bear all of that in mind. If we pop into the weekly time frame, do we notice any divergences happening? Potentially. So just like with, was that with copper I showed you? Yeah, just like with copper, because they're pretty close to each other, you know, copper, nickel, tin, all those kind of things. There's potential, only potential bullish divergence, and it's not in yet because you've got a lower low. You have a potential higher low on the weekly time frame. Screw this thing every time it gets me right there. Potential, I hate this little bar here. I wish I could get rid of that. Potential higher low, right? But you haven't formed the low yet. You haven't pivoted yet. So we need to get a decent spike down somewhere. And then if it starts pivoting, then you can go, okay, that's a bullish divergence. Nowhere near it yet. So it's only potential at this stage. You are highly undervalued versus silver. So I'll say that much. This is one, I would say, along with copper, nickel is one to at least keep on your back burner and watch it for a bit. Okay. And it won't be, though, until it starts doing any kind of bullish divergence. I'll show you on the daily. Now, daily has some potential. Again, it's only potential bullish divergence. Once again, lowering, and you've got some kind of complex stuff happening here. Freaking thing, so annoying. And draw it well, Joe. So there's some divergence going on. I don't think the volume is going to give me anything. Oh no, see, quite lowering volume, so the volume's not sort of supporting it. So yeah, the short answer is I would add nickel to your watch list. I'll actually add it to my watch list. There we go. Add it to my watch list, and I'll keep up to date with it as well. Cool. So nickel could do well, but it's not showing any massive signs. But watch out for it, and mainly with copper as well. Cool. Let's see. We'll get through some comments, etc. And then we'll get out of here. It's been a long one. It's actually been a really long one. SIL versus SILJ. Yes, I love that one. So that's from Marcus. SIL versus SILJ. Let me show you that very quickly. What is this? SIL versus SILJ is I've been charting this for a long time. So I'll show you my chart. SIL versus SILJ. Where am I? SILJ versus SIL. SIL versus. Come on, Joe. Where are you? SIL versus silver. SIL versus SPX. SIL versus GD. Where is it? I've had it before. Hang on. SIL versus SILJ. So what this is measuring is silver mining index. Why isn't it there? I've had it before. Silver mining index versus the silver junior miners. Okay, so this is just a real quick one. So now if you're talking, well, I love silver and I don't want to buy anything but silver. Okay, well, maybe you might want to consider getting into some silver stocks. Now, if you want to get into silver stocks, we're going like levels of inception deep down here, okay? If you want to get into silver mining stocks, would it be better to buy the larger cap silver mining stocks or the junior mining cap stocks? The junior ones, more reward potentially, but more risk involved, okay? So as this is going up, I have had this drawn in previously. I just haven't had it marked down. There we go. Now you're added in properly. As this is going up, it's better to be in the large cap silver miners. As this is going down, it's better to be in the junior silver miners. And the large caps have been outperforming it recently. Pretty clearly, you can see that downtrend line. You have to understand that people are watching this stuff. There are big institutions and big players out there. These things aren't just magic, okay? It's because people are watching them and they're going, oh, that trend line. Oh, we're getting up to that trend line. I think I might sell there or swap back for my junior miners, okay? People are watching it and that's what propels to these kind of, look, downtrend line. Perfect, right? Well, pretty much perfect. So then I would need to go here to here. What are we looking at? We are in its little zone at the moment. And actually, if you wanted, that's on the quarterly. So the junior miners have been outperforming the large miners recently. And if you want to see that continue, if you're all in junior miners, then you want to see this number go down. If I take it from this low and this high, you can see we're at a key, almost in the key zone right now. So there's a potential for that to turn around. So it's kind of neutral for me at the moment. Large cap miners were outperforming. Now the junior cap miners are outperforming. And you're in an indecision point right here. So somewhere in here, it needs to break out. So I would suggest if it does one of two things, you're going to get your answer. If it starts breaking down through here and sort of closing monthly timeframes down below there, looks like your silver junior miners are going to continue to outperform your large miners. And similarly, if that starts breaking and closing monthly timeframes out of there, similar thing. And particularly if you do something like this, then it's going to be much better to be in the large cap ones versus the junior ones. That's it. But again, we're getting like extra layers deep. Cool. Go back to all the comments and let's see. This has been a long one today, as I just said before. No large moves for gold in the near future. Not versus silver. No. Not over the longer term. Not over the next 5 years. Over the next 5 years, much better to be in silver than in gold. Gold can still go up for sure. Gold can head maybe possibly into like the 5,000, early, low 5,000s in the next sort of few months. It can do that for sure. But what's silver doing at the same time? Okay. Mark says, I feel like I'm too late to be buying silver at the all-time high. No, my friend, you are not. So let me show you again. You are not too late at all, my friend. Let me show you why. I bet you've just had a whole bunch of people commenting underneath saying, dude, you're nowhere near too early. Why is that? Because look at, mate, look at Marcus. Hey, Marcus, look at. Do you think, and I may have said this before and you may not have heard it, maybe you came in late. Ooh, AGE's crossing up. I may have to get that. Do you think that after 45 years of not breaking the all-time high, $50 in 1980, $50 in 2011, we finally, in the last quarter, 1 quarter is one candle. Do you think buying here and then we just go bloop, 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 bloop? No. The beach ball, as I said before, has been pushed so far underwater, it's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Okay, 45 years. We're up from here, not from here. Okay, number might go down a bit. If you're dollar cost averaging, you're buying silver every paycheck, you're doing really well, man. Could it have a bit of time where it goes back for a little bit? Yeah, could we spend 6 months? Could we head up to, we've been talking about this recently. We're in the 1, 2, 3, pick a point. I don't know where it is. we will have a wave 4 retrace. Okay. So could there potentially be you start buying silver now and then it starts tanking for like 6 months, possibly longer, and you're like, I should have done this thing. It's a short-term dip along the way. That would be your perfect Can you imagine having a year or a year and a half even, I'm not saying it's that long, where the price is just sort of ranging? Can you imagine that? The opportunity you have to dollar cost average at that price before you get the wave 5 move. You are nowhere near done with silver. Yes, is now a good time to buy silver over the longer term. Hope that helped. I'm here to help you. Help me help you. Nice one. My brother said a quote of PSV. I won't sell it at all. It's wealth outside the system. You could be absolutely right, Brett. Other people are suggesting that, and I've thought this in the past, and others have thought, you may never need to sell your silver because one day, I absolutely believe one day, you will be able to go to your bank and you'll be able to dump your silver in front of them and go, I'm going to borrow a whole bunch of money and I'm now using my silver as collateral. You used to be able to use things like that as collateral, okay? You can't do that anymore. You can't dump gold to use it as collateral for a house. You can do it as a pre-approval for a loan for a house, but then you still have to sell the gold to get the nasty fiat dollar currency. There will be a time when gold is really, really high and silver is really high that banks will start to consider using it as collateral, right? So you could just borrow against your silver and just live off that. And not tax advice. What's the current, do your own research as to what is the current tax implications with borrowing money. Let's see. I remember the first month of the show and this chart was the one for me. Okay, yeah. Oh, the versus S&P 500. Wait, you can buy the S&P 500 as a whole? Yes. Can't you? The SPX. Can't you buy a point of the SPX? Am I wrong on that? Did I just reveal something really dumb about myself because I've been in precious metals for a long time and I don't know as much about the stock market as I do precious metals? I thought you could. If there's no mistakes, there's no lie. I still can't think of one good reason why Bitcoin should be priced higher than gold. Speculation. You know, the new thing, the new shiny thing. I can't either, JM, but it is what it is. Question. What are your thoughts on platinum? Think it will move after silver? It's the one thing I didn't do. The short answer, I won't show you the chart because I've got to go. The short answer is platinum versus gold is doing quite well. I think it will continue to outperform. Silver, though, I think is still the king, and I've been saying this for a while. Silver is the king. Out of the three precious metals, silver is the king. Platinum is the queen. Gold is the jester, or whatever you want to call it, right? Silver is still outperforming platinum quite a lot, and there's no signs yet that platinum will outperform silver. So I put platinum in the gold space versus silver at the moment. Cool. But platinum versus gold, platinum's better than gold. Morning all, missed the start. That's okay. Premiums are too damn high. Nickel is extremely undervalued. Yeah, it looks like it is. Great technical analysis. You are welcome, and thank you for your super chat as well. Chris says, the good old, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And it's a bit hard to hold your retirement in copper unless you plan to retire in a tent. You can buy physical copper, and you can hold copper. Yeah. If you don't hold the physical, if you're a physical only person, okay, then yeah, it's kind of harder to get into copper and nickel and uranium, particularly, obviously, for all those reasons. But if you're happy to not hold it in a physical form, but hold it in things like ETFs, etc., and you trust the banking system and you trust the system enough, then you can do really well versus, you can do really well. But silver is still pretty much killing everything at the moment. Appreciated that super chat from before. Thank you. The spike happened and the market got shut down. The spike was the Russian. I'm talking about. Oh, right. The spike in nickel was the Ukraine thing. Most nickel was coming from Russia and it was already in short supply. Thank you for the heads up. And a short squeeze on the LME. Good. Thank you for that. I've been stacking pure nickel, CDN nickels. Oh, right, yeah. There's nickel in all our change, isn't there? So I've actually, for a very long time, been hoarding my 5 cent, 10 cent, 20 cent pieces, etc. Here in Australia because they are 75% copper, 25% nickel. Might there come a time, I mean, definitely the 5 cent piece. Aren't we already there with the 5 cent piece? That's already, or it's close to over the value of the metal. Imagine that. Like 1966 silver 50 cent rounds. Imagine people start hoarding their 5 cent pieces. Off topic, is anyone aware of any nice Christmas silver rounds getting around this year? I missed the bluey ones. Yeah, I didn't get the bluey ones either. Usually, I know Silver Shield used to do a Christmas round. So maybe Silver Shield, Chris Dwayne's Silver Shield. Let's see. Yeah, they'll always have them. Some of them do. You're allowed to. BN, Bullion Now. You're allowed to. BN has some nice 1 ounces for Christmas. Shh, don't tell Joe I mentioned Bullion Now. No, you're more than welcome to. I worked for Bullion Now for 3 years. I was their first employee. I launched and grew their YouTube channel. Hey, anyone new to the bullion industry in Australia, do you recognize my face or particularly my voice? That's because if you go to the Bullion Now channel, you sort by oldest. All the videos within the first 3 years, that's all me. I launched and grew. I started the Bullion Now channel, and it's now 25,000 followers. I was about roughly almost 20,000 by the time I left. All those massive unboxings, the unboxing videos, all me, baby. Let's see. Australia, mate. Let's see. Last comments and we'll get out of here. This chart is nominal price, not adjusted for inflation. Yes. This chart is nominal price, not adjusted for inflation. You're talking about silver price, I think you are. We might need to have a separate discussion about this whole adjusted for inflation thing, I think, potentially, because I don't think it's a good calling. It's a good tool to use for people. You know, adjusted for inflation, silver should actually be, but shoulds, I don't know about shoulds. I know several people who scrap copper. Wow. And they literally have tons of it stashed. I hope you mean scrap copper, okay? And they're not magically taking it from train line signal things. Know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's the legal way. That is it, people. That has been Good Morning Stackers, an extra long one for the extra long topic that we needed to do, silver versus the rest. Gave you my opinion. Silver, killing everything at the moment. Watch out for copper. Have your blinkers on for nickel, maybe. But copper, yeah, watch it. And uranium, kind of neutral. Anyway, we did that. Finally, my people, I'll ask you to go to the Silver Investor Club, as I showed you before. Could you do that, please? And thanks. And we grab a tasty beverage and we dance it out at the end of the show. Loving your work. Lots of people watching. That's it. So let me do that. And that, I'll lower that so I can hear that. Grab your tasty beverage. Whatever it is right now, you slurp it with me as we dance it out. Thanks, Mon. I appreciate your help too. And thanks for watching. You've watched.
Good morning, Stack. Oh, yeah, we're feeling fine. Good morning, Stack. It's podcast time.
Grab it.
Grab a tasty beverage. Let's get in the groove.
Let's do the
Synchronized slurp. Now we're on the move.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, Stack. Oh,
Thanks for watching, people. You get hopefully some more content tomorrow. Private live stream at the Silver Investor Club tomorrow. Stay safe, stay informed, keep stacking whatever you're stacking. See you soon. Have a great one.